everyone, Darkside Phil here, and welcome to another edition of the Hateful Truth video game review series, where I give you maximum truth and minimum bullshit regarding the latest video game releases. And today we're going to be talking about a game that is not only unique, it's very different from what you would expect out of Nintendo. Nintendo over the years has been very protective of their first-party franchises. They've been very, how can I say... They hold their characters and their first-party stuff close to their heart, right? You've never seen, since, very few far exceptions, a Mario game made by anyone other than Nintendo. There were a few exceptions in the 90s, but since then, right, everything's first-party stays within the house of Nintendo. And so to see a game that puts this first-party content, these first-party licensed characters and worlds into the hands of you, the gamer, right, is kind of a big step for Nintendo, in my opinion. Let's face it, Nintendo is not used to saying, oh, here's something that you can create with. More, it's like, here's our creative creations, play them. And so when a game comes out, like Super Mario Maker for the Wii U, where you can finally, for the first time, right, in the entire existence of Nintendo, you can take the official characters, the official levels, from Nintendo's biggest and most tried and true classic franchise, Super Mario Brothers, and take 4 different versions of that game and mishmash them together in a big hybrid amalgamation and have enemies from different ones, coming out at different times and having different versions of Mario, different power-ups, actual creative things in the game such as jumpsuits and stuff, different outfits, all come into play in a game. That's pretty interesting, and I think a lot of people have been keeping their eye on Super Mario Maker for a while, saying, gee, I wonder how this game's going to fare. Will it actually catch the attention of the mainstream gamer, or is this going to be more of a niche title, right? There's a few people who maybe really are huge fans of the original Super Mario Brothers games, and they've always wanted to do this. I'll be honest with everyone. I'm one of them. I'm actually one of the people who grew up playing the original Super Mario Brothers platforming games on the NES, the Super NES, and I love them, and I think this game is outstanding just because I finally, after all these years of these nostalgic feelings, when I was a kid, I used to take graph paper, and I used to draw my own Super Mario Brothers 1 stages on graph paper. No lie, this is actually what I used to do as a kid, and now I actually have the tool to make those stages come to life. That's pretty freaking awesome, alright? But in addition to all of that, Super Mario Maker isn't just about creating your own levels. It's about exploring the imaginations and in some cases the devious, things that other people could come up with when it comes to them uploading their own levels and you playing their own levels and stuff like that. So let's talk about Super Mario Maker. And I'm going to be very honest with everyone. I'm going to say that there's basically 2 groups of people who I'm going to be reviewing this game for. People who are huge fans of Nintendo and Super Mario Brothers, and everyone else, alright? I'm going to give it a general score for everyone, and kind of a, whoa, fan score. I did the same thing with several other games in the past, and I feel that I have to do it for this game because, I'll be honest, people who are fans of Nintendo and Super Mario are probably going to be so fucking blown away by this game that any shortcomings of the game, they're going to completely ignore and say the game's great. Problem with that is I'm a responsible reviewer. I can't just say, oh, I love the game 10 out of 10 like a lot of other reviewers tend to do whenever there's a game that they love. That's not what you're supposed to do. If you're going to review something objectively, you have to be objective and say, here's what's good about the game, here's what's bad about the game. So if you're not blinded by the light of fanboyism, there's also going to be a more generalized score that I'm going to give the game, okay? So Super Mario Maker, first of all, just look at this. Comes with this cool box, right? This isn't even the box for the game. This is a cardboard box that it comes with. Comes with this cool collectible book of ideas that has all kinds of things in it, of things you could do with the game. When you go to the back, it actually has diagrams of when Miyamoto was actually designing some of the original Super Mario Brothers stages and some notes and things that he wrote on the stages. It's pretty interesting. Anyone who's a longtime fan of Super Mario Brothers, this is like a must-buy. You're going to love the collectibles and things that this game come with, alright? when you first jump into Super Mario Maker, you're going to notice it's cool. It has that first-party appeal of Nintendo. It's got that high production value. Even on the intro screen as it boots up, it takes whatever the name of the day is, and if something weird happens to Mario on the title screen, then you get to choose, do you want to make your own stage, or do you want to play other people's stages? So, of course, you're going to click on Make First. You go right into the level editor, and immediately you're going to see that there's options. It'll be regular Super Mario Brothers and Super Mario Brothers Wii U, which is the Wii U version, the most latest one from a few years back. And at first, you'll probably only have the basics, like the overworld with a certain amount of, characters and blocks and things to use. I'll be honest, the level editor itself is very intuitive. It's easy to learn, even though there are a few annoying shortcuts that the game really doesn't explain. Like if you hold down the triggers and then you press it, it'll automatically use the eraser tool instead of having to manually use your stylus on the Wii U gamepad to click on the eraser and then dabble or manually erase things. You can, have shortcuts, and it doesn't really explain the shortcuts. Once you work out the little things like that, it actually becomes very fun. And one of the things that I like about this is not only is it a level creator tool, but it also is out to entertain you. So as you're dragging blocks or putting down tons of blocks or things on the stage, it starts playing Super Mario theme. So you go, as you're putting down blocks, it'll go ba 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 ba. So it's actually trying to make these menial and mundane things that you would do as a level creator interesting by adding in music and effects and all kinds of fun stuff. And of course, yes, you can dabble with doing insane amounts of stages, stages that, have impossibly, really difficulty spikes and or nearly impossible things. You can have easy stages, right? It doesn't matter. You're the creator. But here's the thing, and this is what I like about the game. In order for you to actually save and then create and upload that stage to the public listing so that other people can try them out, the stage has to be beatable, and you have to beat it before it will upload. So what Nintendo is basically saying is, in the spirit of fairness, if you're going to upload a stage, we want it to be beatable. We don't want people sitting on your stage for 5 hours trying to find out how to beat it just to come, it's not beatable. So you have to beat it yourself. And of course, that means you need to, actually do a good run at it. I myself personally made some pretty difficult stages that took me quite a while to beat. And when I beat them, I was like, yes, I finally beat it. I feel accomplished. And then I uploaded them, and tons of people joined the online not matchmaking, but the online listings, tried out the stages themselves. If you like a stage that you try out online, you can give it a star. You can even leave a comment so that people know that that's a good stage. The more stars that a stage gets once it's uploaded, it shows up in the public listings as higher and higher, and eventually if enough people star it, it'll show up in the most liked listings, and obviously you'll have a more widespread appeal for people to check out your stages. And it was funny because people who were designing good stages, I could see, frequently showed up in the top 30, 40, 50, listings. They would have multiple listings there because people would start to trust their levels and check them out, which is pretty cool. So, what's the extent of the content in Super Mario Maker? You've got Super Mario Bros. 1, Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario World, and Super Mario Wii U. And you might say, but you missed one there. What happened to Super Mario 2? Well, the thing is, Super Mario Bros. 2, for those who don't know, was a completely different game in Japan than it was in other markets. In Japan, it was actually looked exactly the same as the original Super Mario Bros. And was just a game that had a much higher difficulty spike. But they thought that if they released that game to the world, it would be too difficult for other audiences. So they actually took a different game called Doki Doki Panic and just reskinned it to have Mario characters in it. And that's why Super Mario 2 is so different from other Mario games. You're ripping vegetables out of the ground and throwing them at your opponents. They didn't feel that should be in this game, because quite honestly, it's not an original Super Mario game. Now, I'm going to be honest here. I was a little bit surprised they didn't include that interim series, Yoshi's Island, which was actually Yoshi's Island 1 and 2 are actually the next in line in the Mario series. It's like they went from Super Mario World, which was the early 90s, and they skipped all of that and jumped way the hell ahead to the late 2000s with Super Mario Wii U. That was a little bit of a shortcoming for me. I wish that they had that, all right? Stages. Well, you're going to have the overworld, the underground, the subterranean, Duga Duga Duga, Duga Duga Duga. Those stages are in there. You're going to have underwater stages, and there's even more than that, depending on the different worlds you can unlock stuff. Yes, you're going to have all your classic enemies, the Koopas, the Goombas, the different variations of those. If you actually just easily take your stylus and take a Koopa and shake it around, it'll change from green to red, and therefore its actual movement patterns will change. Lakitu, the piranha plants, the fire-breathing piranha plants, thwomps, pretty much the majority of the cast of enemies and characters from the Super Mario platforming games make an appearance in this game. But a shortcoming, absolutely a shortcoming of this game, is that, unfortunately, not all of the enemies are featured. And especially, I would say, the biggest disappointment is in Super Mario World, Chargin' Chuck. Where is he? Chargin' Chuck. Remember, he was the new Koopa type for Super Mario World? He was the one that looked like a big sports player, and he would run around. Some of them would have baseball bats and throw baseballs. Some of them would have little, American footballs and punt them. And that was a huge new addition to the series that changed the gameplay a lot, and they didn't even put it into this. And I'm like, why would you leave that out of all things? Especially when you've got a lot of other things. And yeah, there's a lot of, more rarer creatures from the series that are not included, like the sea urchins and stuff like that that were in, some stages, but not all the stages. They weren't the most popular of enemies, are left out. No Koopa Kids. Oh my god, there's no Koopa Kids. The Koopa Kids from Super Mario 3, which then came back later on in future Super Mario games, aren't in this. All you have is Bowser Jr., which was in some games, but I have to question, why aren't the Koopa Kids also in this with all their different variations, right? And that's what's kind of disappointing about Super Mario Maker, is that it touches upon greatness. As you're playing it, you're going to love it if you're a fan of Mario, but then ultimately you're going to say, man, I really wish I could have done this kind of stage or that kind of stage, just to find out that that's not in the game. And you're like, well, why is the angry son, the biggest asshole enemy from Super Mario Bros. 3 that everyone hates, not in the game? Can someone explain to me, where is this enemy, right? And that's a big shortcoming, okay? Another huge shortcoming of the game, this is my number one, it was my one complaint I played the entire time. I had one complaint. It's still my number one complaint. Nintendo decided, in all of their wisdom, which is not wisdom at all at this point, it's just basically living in the past, they were not going to make all of the stuff available to use for level creation at launch. So you buy Super Mario Maker for $60, okay? You bring it home, you put it in your Wii U, and there's only 2 worlds available. As you do more with the level creator, as in put down blocks and mess with the stages and do that, more stuff will unlock. There's actually 2 different methods to unlock content in Super Mario Maker. Either you play the game every day in a row, alright, and every day that you play it, it counts as 1. I believe if after you've played it 9 gameplay days, almost, if not all of the content will automatically unlock itself. Or, if you don't want to wait 9 gameplay days for it to unlock, you could just sit in the level editor with blocks and go block, 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 block. And no one seems to actually have a concrete measurement of how much you need to do this, but apparently once you put down a certain amount of blocks, which could take 20 minutes to several hours, all the content in the game will unlock. Now wait a minute, let's just put this into perspective, okay? When I go and buy Adobe Photoshop, right? That's a tool, right? That's supposed to be something to make some pretty visuals or whatever. Do I have to use the program for 9 straight days consecutively for the content to unlock? Do I have to actually sit there actively video editing for 5 hours before a cool tool will open up that I can use to make my stuff better? Of course not. When you buy an application, you get to use all of the application at once. You don't have to wait and time lock it. Nintendo is living in this time warp where they think it's 1985 still. Here, 30 years later, they still think it's the mid-80s. And they think that Super Mario World isn't on the Wii U, that it's on an old-school game cartridge, and that there's only 2 hours of content on there, so what they need to do is time lock the content so that you have replayability for their game. They literally are living 30 years in the past and don't understand how stupid that is. That is so dumb. Even let's even talk here. Little Big Planet, all right? All of the basic tools of Little Big Planet are available when you start. Now there's decals, right? There's color schemes, optional things unlock as you play the campaign of Little Big Planet. And it actually gives you some incentive to play the campaign of Little Big Planet so that you'll unlock all the content, then you can go to the level editor and use it all. But the basic tools of the level editor are all there when you start to create your levels. You know what I mean? This game doesn't have a campaign. So what is Nintendo's incentive here besides we hope people don't go rent the game, right? Play it for a day, get bored of it, and then never buy it. That's almost what I see it is. Like, how can we make it so people won't rent Super Mario Maker, but they'll buy it? Oh, we'll make it so you have to actually own the game for 9 days and play it 9 days straight consecutively for the content to unlock. No one's going to rent it, because who wants to rent it for 9 days? They're just going to buy the game. And it's ridiculous. It's so short-sighted. It's so stupid. And I've heard justifications. Well, Nintendo didn't want everything at once because then the game gets boring too quickly. Bullshit. That's such a cop-out. That's such an apologist's way to explain it. Nothing in this game needs to be time-locked. It's a cop-out from Nintendo thinking the game is a cartridge and trying to not get you to rent the game. It has nothing to do with them thinking that you're going to get bored with the game quickly. If anything, a game like this, if you really like Super Mario and you want to do level creation, you're not going to get bored. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many options, so many things you could never do in the original Super Mario game. Just look at the back of the fucking box. There's a Goomba with a fucking Monty Mole on top of it, with a fucking ghost on top of it, and it's just like, how could you get bored? You could infinitely fuck with this game and have fun with it. So it's a bunch of bullshit. It certainly should not be in the game. The level creator is great, but for me, where this game actually shined was the fact that it's not just a level creator, but that you can play other people's levels, and the game actually lays out challenges for you. So there's actually something called the 10 Mario Challenge that will play you through 10 predetermined courses that Nintendo created. And once you beat that challenge, you actually unlock content, like a new outfit or something, that you can use in your level creator. And I believe I played one, and I actually got one of the guys from, like, I can't remember the name of the game. It was one of the Builder games or something. The guy had a hammer, and you could look like him. You could use that as a power-up, an outfit power-up that you could use in one of your stages that you wanted to create. So it's pretty cool, and there's incentive to play these stages. Now, there's different difficulty levels. There's, like, easy, normal, and hard. Once you beat the predetermined the predetermined Nintendo levels, then you can go online and do what's called the 100 Mario Challenge, which puts you up against, I think it's like a marathon of 16 or 18 user-created stages that were uploaded online, and they actually determine the difficulty level by how many people who attempted that stage actually completed it, which is pretty damned neat. And I played through the 100 Mario Challenge. I had so much fun playing it. Even some stages are almost impossible because, I'll be honest, some of these people who design these stages are malicious assholes, right? A room entirely full of enemies. There's a hidden star somewhere. You have no opportunity to look for it. You just have to know where it is in order to hit it and survive. And that's what happened to me with certain levels. Like, I tried for 25 minutes, 30 minutes to try to beat these levels, and because they hid the fucking star somewhere, you can't beat the level, which is bullshit. Obviously, they could beat it. They created it. They knew where the star was. They hit it. They probably beat it on their first shot. While for you, it's nearly impossible because you don't know where this invisible power-up is, right? On the flip side of that, it leads itself to some of the most creative stuff I've seen in game creation in a long time. For example, stages based off of Super Meat Boy, where it has buzzsaws everywhere and similar wall jumps to the Super Meat Boy series. Great original stages. Stages that have awesome airships, underwater stuff, boss fights, stages that are based off of the outfits that you can get, such as Samus Aran. You have a Metroid-themed stage, or Pikachu and a Pokemon-themed stage and stuff like that. And the game actually has music and stuff from those games built into it so that you can mess around with it. Of course, there's two ways to unlock that content, and I hate to say this. The first way to unlock the content is, as I said, to keep continuously playing those 100 Mario challenges. And yeah, it takes a while, but if you beat it like 100 times, you'll get all these outfits and all this stuff for your level creator for free. Or the easy way out is to buy amiibos. Yes, so if you buy the Pikachu amiibo and you scan it into your Wii U for Super Mario Maker, you'll immediately get the Pikachu outfit and probably the music from Pokemon to put into Super Mario Maker. And I hate to say it, it's so disappointing because it's such a fucking rip-off, cash-in, ridiculous system that's trying to make Nintendo fans get addicted to amiibos rather than care about the core game. I should be able to use all the content of this fucking game when I buy it. I already spent $60. I shouldn't have to spend $60 on this and then $500 to buy every fucking amiibo to unlock every outfit. It's horseshit. At least there is a way to unlock the content within the game, but it's so time consuming. Running through 16 to 18 user created stages to get one piece of content unlocked is incredibly time consuming versus running out and buying the amiibos. It's obviously a marketing ploy by Nintendo to make you want to run out and spend hundreds of dollars on amiibos for the characters that you want to use in the game rather than trying to randomly earn them through those challenges, and that's really effing disappointing, okay? The one final thing I want to talk about, the online actual system where you can upload your stage, okay, is pretty cool because you have the ability, not only as you're playing through other people's stages, to leave little Wii U notes, so you can have little drawings or tips. There are actually a few stages I had no clue what to do, and then someone left a tip and it said, oh, there's a hidden item here, do this. And that would allow me to progress in the stage, and that's pretty cool. It's almost like playing Dark Souls, where people would leave those messages on the ground, and you can say, oh, here's a tip, a secret wall, right? Kind of the same thing here. Oh, do this kind of jump, and you'll pass this really difficult part of the stage. And that was really cool. In addition, the starring system and the ability to leave comments and stuff was awesome. And when you upload your stages and people start to play them and star them, you start to feel like this interactive community of gamers that are all liking each other's content and enjoying it. And it really feels like an organic thing when you're online playing these stages and uploading your own stages. You actually can feel accomplishment and pride if you create a great stage that people seem to enjoy. On the flip side, I'm sure you probably feel a little disappointed if you upload a stage and no one ever plays it, and that could be kind of difficult too. How do you get your stage seen? For me, it was easy because I played it on camera and on stream, and of course people wanted to try it for themselves afterwards. But on the flip side of all this, there could also be trolling, where people who know who you are will seek out your stages and troll them. That's what happened to me. I had a few stages I uploaded, and of course people with all kinds of insulting names. Oh, let's play Phil's stage, so that on camera it'll say this insulting name played Phil's stage, right? Because they think it's, because they have the mentality of fucking 5-year-olds, and that's the problem. Nintendo does a terrible job. I will stand by this statement. A terrible job of preventing trolling. They don't have the big picture view, and so they don't realize that a lot of people are on the internet only to make other people's lives miserable, and they don't realize that probably there will be people who will do shit like that and leave nasty comments and stuff, and there's no real way around it. All you can do is really turn off the pop-up notices so you don't see them happening, but what's to stop someone who doesn't like you or your stage from finding all of your content, because you can search for the name of the content creator, and immediately just fucking saying it all sucks ass, right? You can't, and that's a shame. It's a shame that Nintendo, again, lives in 1985, not 2015, and realizes that the internet is what it is, and there will be these malicious parties that should be stopped, but there's no way to really do it. So, overall, Super Mario Maker, it's basically a dream for someone like me who grew up in the 1980s, 90s, loves the classic Super Mario Brothers platforming games, to finally not only be able to play all of these cool user-created stages, but make my own, alright? And I'll be honest, anyone who's a Nintendo fanboy, anyone who's a Mario fanboy, this game is a 10 out of 10. You know what I mean? Like, there's all the shortcomings that I just said. I know those people will just be so, this is the best game, it's one of the best games Nintendo's ever put out. I tend to agree, compared to all the other stuff that's been put out on the Wii U, especially recently, because there hasn't been a hell of a lot, this is a great freaking game. And certainly, considering the very few amount of games that have been released for the Wii U in the year of 2015, this is probably the one must-buy for fans of Nintendo. But on the flip side of that, if you are not a hardcore fanboy of Nintendo, if you are someone who maybe casually plays Nintendo games from time to time, but you're looking for a nice level editor that's going to have tons of robust content, you're looking for something that's not abusable, you're looking for something that's going to have all the content unlocking at launch, you're out of luck. Because what Nintendo said was, we're going to do it our way. Once again, feedback, what the hell is that? Market feedback, where we actually ask people if having to wait to unlock the content of something they've already paid for, is something that's legitimate. No, here we go. We are Nintendo. We know better than you. Therefore, we do what we want, and you will like it. Because we're Nintendo, so just buy. And it's pretty sad, because if they had just asked people, would you like to have locked content or not, I guarantee you the vast majority of customers would have said no. Put it out immediately when the game comes out. Don't lock things because of the amiibos and shit like that. Give us a full-fledged level editor at launch. Sorry about that, my camera cut off, and so I have to kind of hurry up and finish up the review here. But Nintendo does not do that with this game. Nintendo locks everything behind time barriers. And, some people said, but Phil, you could just fast-forward the clock on your Wii U and everything unlocks. That's true. But should you have to jump through hoops and do that kind of shit? No, Nintendo shouldn't have put that shit in the game to begin with, and that's a major negative, alright? Another major negative are the missing things. Why are there no charging chucks? Why are there entire stages missing? Why are there entire enemy types missing? The Koopa Kids are missing. Why isn't everything in the game? Let's face it, these games that are in here are small games at this point. Super Mario 1, 3, and 4, you could probably fit on like a 1 gigabyte memory stick. So there's no excuse in 2015 that you couldn't put every enemy type inside the game. That's just a lame excuse. And, if you're going to pay $60 for a level editor that everything's fucking time locked, at least give me all of the stuff from the games and Nintendo does not, and that is kind of disappointing. So there's big positives and big negatives. For a Nintendo fan, 10 out of 10. Nintendo fanboy, Mario fanboy, you're going to love the game. For everyone else, I really have to look at this game objectively and say, is it great? Yeah, I think it actually is a great game. Me being a Nintendo fan, a Mario fan, I can forgive that stuff a lot easier than someone who maybe isn't a hardcore fan. But I can understand for someone who, I bought Little Big Planet and I could do, pretty much everything in the game when I bought it. Why the fuck do I have to wait? Why do I have to buy amiibos to unlock costumes or play through these ridiculous 100 Mario challenges that take half an hour or more at a pop to beat to unlock one piece of content? I agree. And I think that it's a cheap tactic that Nintendo shouldn't have all this hidden content that's on the disc hidden for amiibo purchasers or for people who want to sink 400 hours of challenge gameplay into the game. So I have to rate the game objectively. I think it's great, but it has a lot of shortcomings, and it really has a long way to go. If this wanted to be the perfect level editor for Nintendo, they really need to improve on some things. I'm going to give Super Mario Maker on the Wii U an 8 out of 10. I think it's great. For Nintendo fans, might be your game of the year, but for everyone else, and you got to weigh this objectively against other level creators that I've played and other games that don't have this ridiculous amiibo-required content, the game could have been performed or at least designed a little bit better, and I think it comes out just a little short, although it is still an enjoyable experience, especially if you enjoy playing other people's stages. You're going to have an almost endless supply of content to play online. 8 out of 10 for Super Mario Maker. All right? That's it for the Hateful Truth review, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed it and you found it informative. I hope that you feel I gave you maximum truth and minimum bullshit regarding this release, and I will see you for many more game reviews in the future. I'm DSP. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Peace out, and I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot for watching my review, everyone, and I sure hope that you enjoyed it. Unfortunately, Nintendo is more than likely going to content ID match this video and take away my ability to monetize it. However, if you head over to my YouTube channel, DSP Gaming, you can check out all of my raw, uncut footage of Super Mario Maker that is protected by my managed partnership with Machinima, and I can actually make some money on those videos if you give them a look. In addition, please consider giving this review a thumbs up on YouTube and checking out my Patreon account at patreon.com/DarksidePhil, where for as little as $1 pledge a month, you can get some really cool perks. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.